Namaste everybody, Irina here. Thank you for joining me in this yoga practice. I invite you to take a cross-legged seated position or kneeling position, and we will start the practice shortly. The spring is in the air. It feels like there is a hope. There is a wish to start something new. Probably you are feeling that you want to introduce a new healthy habit into your life. That could be something from the physical point of view, so exercising, or perhaps looking at the dieting and nutrition. So to be able to create that new habit and to invite new energy into the life, we would need to create the space first of all. So this yoga session is all about creating some space, both mentally and physically. So when I refer to creating mental space as just perhaps letting go of things that is no longer serving you, some stereotypes, some mental patterns, some thoughts that did serve us in the past very well, but it's probably time to let go. And from the physiological point of view, creating the space in the body means probably detoxifying and getting rid of old to be able to invite new energy and to replenish. So with that intention, we will begin the practice. Right, let's position the hands on the knees. You can rotate your palms to face up. You can rotate your palms to face down and ground yourself, perhaps keeping your spine straight. Let's bring the gaze inwards. Let's keep the chest open, soften through the facial muscles. Maybe you want to take a very deep inhale and then to forcefully exhale, take that deep sigh from the mouth or from the nose. And after that deep, forceful exhalation, start engaging with your breath. Start deepening your inhalation and exhalation, so bringing that equilibrium, that equal distance and time, space between the in-breath and the out-breath. You can mentally think about something in your life that is no longer serving you. And perhaps time to let it go. But to be able to let something go, we need to first notice and acknowledge what is it that I no longer require. And perhaps with each exhalation, I invite you to imagine that you are just letting that thing go from your life as the out-breath and exhalation coming out of the body. And perhaps on the inhale, you can invite that new energy, new change. So breathing in the change and breathing out the old patterns that is no longer serving you. And very gently, let's introduce the movement into the body. So that could be a movement into your shoulders, making circular movement. It could be counterclockwise rotation or clockwise, and then perhaps changing. If you want to keep your gaze closed, you can just bring your focus inwards, or if you're opening your eyes, direct your gaze somewhere onto a focal point, maybe a static, non-moving point in front of you. Paying attention to the body, paying attention to the way the body feels. And then perhaps introducing the movement into the neck, maybe simultaneously the shoulders and the neck. Again, paying attention to what the body is telling us. And then we're going to take a lateral twist of the right side. So your right arm goes up with your left hand pressing onto the mat. We're bending the left elbow and trying to get that space into your rib cage. Feel in the lungs, rotate the chest out. And then changing to the other side. Back into the center and twisting. So the detoxification of the body can come from those physical twists when we're squeezing the energy, squeezing the internal organs, and then comes that untwisting and the toxin gets out of the body into the bloodstream and flushed out. And back into the center. Okay, let's get into the all four. Knees are with hip apart, being mindful on of your ankles and the sensation in the ankles. You perhaps need to support something underneath. That could be a blanket, that could be a block. If you've got no restrictions, straightening your ankles. And let's bring the chest forward, keeping your sit bones as high as possible, and you're bringing the chest towards the belly, or the belly towards the thighs. Your arms are straight forward, feeling that stretch in the upper arms, underarms. If that's too intense for you, perhaps taking the arms wider, that will release the tension in the upper body. And from here, let's come into the all four and come into the thread the needle from the right side. Your right arm goes up, then you're dropping the right shoulders to the floor. Your right cheek can rest on the floor, and you can press and engage with a torso engaging, and so you're pressing and kind of using the floor as a leverage to pull away so you can come into a deeper twist. And back into the center, the other side, so lengthening first. With that length, dropping the other side on the floor, and again with your right hand this time, perhaps pressing and encouraging that twist. And back into the all four. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, pedal through the feet. Notice the sensation in the ankles and your toes, making sure that you're spreading and massaging the toes, massaging the fascia, the soles of the feet, warming up through the ankle joints, noticing your hamstrings, the sensation in the back of the legs, and walking the feet forward, leaving some space in front of the mat, relaxing the upper body. Inhaling halfway left, lengthening. You may want to use the blocks and lift the chest, press into the block. Encourage movement of the shoulder back and keeping your knees soft if necessary, especially when the hamstrings are tight. And exhale, round through the back. On the next inhale, we're going to sit into the chair, Utkatasana. Your knees are together, tilting the pelvis forward, engaging your core muscles, strong engagement through the entire body. Finding your drishti. And exhale, folding forward. Remember to soften through the knees if you want to release your hamstrings. Round through the back. Few breaths here. On the next inhale, we're going to sit into the chair, but this time we're going to add the twist towards the right side. And looking maybe over the right shoulder. You can try and bring your elbows to the outside edge of your, just on the top of your knee. Trying not to press into the knee. Then straighten your legs, fold forward. Inhale halfway left, perhaps again using the block or with the tips of the fingers pressing into the mat. Exhaling, folding, inhaling into the chair and twist towards the other side. So we're in a twisted chair position, again engaging your solar plexus, your knees are together. Shoulders, trying to bring them back. And coming into Uttanasana, exhaling here, inhale halfway left, plant your hands, step into the plank, drop the right knee to the floor, rotate your foot 45 degrees out, your right arm goes into the center and open up and stack up your shoulders, press with the sole of the foot, of your left foot. And keep your kneecap engaged. Your right ankle could be, so your toes could be tucked, flexion or extension of the ankle with the toes flat on the mat. Okay, let's get into the other side. Stacking up the shoulders, stretching, giving that expansion to the chest. Lifting your rib cage. And breathing. Back into the center, to the plank, your high plank. From here, chaturanga, into the up dog. Tucking the toes and into the down dog. Again, if you still want that movement, that heat, that warmth into the body, maybe pedal through the feet. If you're ready to be static, 5 breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, inhaling, exhale, bend the knees, step, walk or jump, inhale halfway left, exhale, fold, and inhale all the way up, Samastiti. Okay, let's lift the right foot off the floor, finding the outside or the inside edge of your foot, entirely up to you here. And then you want to kick back with your leg, simultaneously bringing your chest slightly forward and stretching your left arm straight. King of the Dancers pose. And you can try and kick back even further, engaging your quads here. Just notice that micro movement, that micro adjustment of your left ankle to keep that balancing pose. And letting go. Right, the other side. So we're going to do the left side, balancing on the right foot, making sure your toes are spread. Okay, let's find the foot and then keep kicking back. Rib cage is elevated. You are stretching the right arm forward and you keep kicking back. Your bandha's engaged here, so I'm squeezing the perineum. Core muscles engaged and letting go. Coming out, stepping back with your left foot, rotating to the side of the mat, tucking your toes slightly in, positioning the hands on the hips, inhale. And on the exhale, keeping your expansion in the chest, we're gonna fold forward, bringing your hands to the floor and then walking them slightly back. The back of the wrists are about in line with the back of your heels. Hands under the shoulders. Remember, if the groin area is too tight, try to see if the position of your feet can be changed and how will that impact the sensations. Hamstring tight, bend the knees. Bringing the right arm forward in front of you. Let's add the twist and look up. And change. You even may want to find your left thigh with the right hand, so going a little bit further in that outside rotation of your right shoulder blade. And back into the center, perhaps bringing the elbows this time on the floor. And let's breathe. Okay, position your hands on the floor. Inhale, halfway left. Pivot towards the right side. Plant your hands. Step into the plank. Chaturanga. Into the up dog. Tuck the toes. Into the down dog. And this time we're going to bring the right hand inside. Rotate and stack up your feet. And trying to do the side plank. Again, being mindful on your wrists, especially if you've got any conditions, osteoarthritis or osteoporosis, you may want to do the modified plank, side plank, or if you don't have any conditions, trying to stack up the shoulders, engage the whole body, and then rotate towards the opposite side, taking modification on the other side too. And just trying to look up. That will impact your balance. So rotating the neck slowly and gently and back into the plank and lower yourself fully down onto the floor. Okay, from here we're gonna compress and squeeze the internal belly by laying on the floor. So we're going to add the back bend and expansion through the chest and the compression of the lumbar. Okay, finding your feet, ankles, anything to get hold of. Inhale and kick back. Keep engaging with your legs and breathe. Stretching through the throat, maybe looking up. Keep glutes engaged, keep squeezing the bum. And exhale, release. Straight away into Balasana, the child's pose, flexion of the spine and decompression of your lower back. Okay, you may want to use the block, especially if you are tight in your quads and in the glutes and tight in the upper body. So we start winding down the energy, bringing your breath into the steady rhythm. I'm feeling the forehead off the floor. Let's get into Baddha Konasana B variation. So bringing your soles of the feet together, away from the groin. We're going to be focusing more on the flexion of the spine rather than going with the straight spine. Allow the flexion to occur. Interlacing the fingers, you'll probably feel the sensation in your, not so much in the groin because the feet are away from the groin. It could be probably your hamstrings. So inhaling, and on the exhale, bringing the forehead closer, 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 probably to the heels. Maybe using your legs or your feet to pull yourself slightly forward. You'll feel the hamstring sensation, the quad sensation, not so much on the groin, but rather than outside of your thighs. And back into the center, coming into laying flat on the mat. And we're going to do the recline twist position to get into that reset of the nervous system. So bringing your arms to the floor, you can straighten, you can keep it bent, just having that space in the chest, and then dropping the knees towards the right side and rotating your neck towards the opposite side. Allow the knees to land at any point in space. Maybe you even need to position the block or couple of blocks to support, paying attention to that twist and the sensations in your waist, and also paying attention into that sensation in your shoulder. Bringing the knees back into the center. And the opposite side, and twisting. Bringing the knees back into the center. Rock very slowly, very gently forward into the cross-legged seated position. Keeping your gaze closed. Just take a few moments to observe the energy, to observe how the body feels, what are the mind condition. So maybe you have achieved a bit of stillness in the mind, or maybe it's completely opposite effect on you, that the mind is keep bombarding you with all the thoughts. Open your gaze very softly. So that was the yoga session for the new spring beginnings. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. Thank you for your energy. And from here, as usual, you can either go into Shavasana and relaxation pose, you can have a meditative pose, or that could be your practice for the day. Once again, thank you for joining, and I hope to see you more on this channel. Namaste.